What's going on, everyone? This is Gaurav and welcome to my learning channel. So in today's video, we'll learn about basics of probability. Now, this is one of the topic which is very near and dear to the interviewing community. And the reason behind is very simple. When you try to solve a probability question, it not only tests you on your skills of probability and mathematics, but it also tests you on your structured thinking and logical reasoning. So now that we know how important probability is, let's get started. All right, let's take a look at the dictionary definition of probability. So it says the extent to which an event is likely to occur measured by the ratio of the favorable cases to the whole number of cases possible. Quite a mouthful. So let's take a look at an example to better understand this. Let's say you have a fair dice. Fair dice meaning the likelihood that you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or 6 is equal. So if I ask you that can you calculate what is the probability that when you throw the dice that you will get 1? So based on the definition that we just saw, the probability will be number of times an event can happen, which is 1 in this case, and the total number of different cases. That's going to be 6 because you have 6 different phases. So that's why the probability for 1 would be 1 upon 6. Probability for 2 would be also 1 upon 6 because this is a fair dice and so on. So each one of the side will have the equal probability. So now that we have taken a look at a very simple example and know one way to calculate the probability, let's take a look at another example. Now let's say you have 2 fair dice and we start throwing the fair dice and I ask you that what is the probability that if I throw this dice then I'll get 1 and 1, which is 1 on the front face for the first dice and 1 on the front face for the second dice as well. So let's use the same fundamental that we just learned, which is the favorable event is 1, 1, which is just 1. And the total number of event will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, and so on. So total number of such events will be 36, which is 6 cross 6. So your probability will be 1 upon 36. And this is one of the way that you could potentially use to calculate the probability for any of the more complicated instances as well. But now let's make our life a little bit more difficult and let's introduce another factor. Now let's say that I ask you to calculate the probability for the same dice that we were just looking at. But now I don't tell you whether this is a fair dice or an unfair dice. So you don't know whether the likelihood of getting 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or 6 is equal or not. So at that point in time, if I ask you to calculate the probability, then the only option for you is that you actually conduct your own experiment and say, so if you conduct the experiment, then you can try to at least find out that what is the experimental probability. So let's say that you throw the dice 60 times. And now that you have thrown the dice 60 times, you observe it and you tabulate it, which is there on the right hand side. So number of instances, let's say for 1 is 10. Number of instances for 2 is 11. Number of instances for 3 is 9, and so on. So this way, let's say you tabulate the data and now you want to calculate the probability. So as we have just learned, the probability is total number of instances where that particular event has happened. So for instance, if I want to calculate probability for 1, it will be 10 upon total number of events, so which is 60, because we did throw the dice like 60 different times. So your observed probability will be 10 upon 60 for 1, 11 upon 60 for 2, and so on. Now, as you can see that now all of a sudden, this probability is not 1 upon 6. It's a little bit more than 1 upon 6 for few instances and less than 1 upon 6 for few instances. This is based on your experiment. Now, you would actually think that if this is a fair dice, then you should always get 1 upon 6 for all of the instances. But that does not happen because your total number of events or the total number of sample points in your experimentation is very limited. So with this, let's introduce the another topic, which is law of large numbers. Now, this theorem says that as the number of trials or observation increases, the actual number, the actual or the observed probability approaches the theoretical probability. What does that mean? So let's say in the same example that we just saw, you have experimental probability, which is 10 upon 60, 11 upon 60, and so on. But then if you conduct this experiment infinite number of times, so let's say you have a ton of resources and you do the experiment infinite number of times, then your actual probability, which is 1 upon 6, will start to converge with your experimental probability. So when you do that, then you will actually see that both of them are probably in the very similar range. Now, this is a very powerful piece of information. And the reason behind is, let's say you want to make any kind of a study on the entire world population. And if you have to do that, the one option is that you can actually go to each and every person on the face of Earth. You can do your experimentation, you can tabulate the result, and you can just see that what is the overall probability of a particular event happening. But that's definitely not feasible because way too many people. So how do we do that? We actually conduct the experiment, but you conduct the experiment with a smaller group of people multiple number of times. Now, once you do that, then you will start to see that a particular probability that you might be able to, might like to calculate will start to converge to a particular point. And that could be your actual observed probability, which will fairly sort of close to your actual probability. And now we will elaborate a lot more on this particular topic as we move forward in the subsequent video. But that's all for this today's video. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe. And thank you so much. Have a happy learning.